I'm Hunter Patterson, here with Breland Brandt, and this is The Process, hosted by none other than Top 5 UCLA. So the first thing I want to get into today is kind of your experience since you played football for 2 years.
Yeah.
Crazy list of offers: Alabama, USC, Notre Dame. So what kind of made you fall in love with football?
Really for me, it was just, I don't know, I played basketball before football, and I was always like a little more aggressive than everyone else. Like,
Right.
I was in the defense, like all the hard work stuff, like rebound and all that. So football was kind of just like a neat no-brainer. Like I got to tackle people for
Right.
2 hours. Like it was cool. Yeah.
Okay, and so what was the deciding factor in coming here to UCLA?
For me, I just wanted to be close to my family. Like,
You're from
I'm
LA,
from Long
right?
Beach,
Okay.
yeah. So I wanted my mom and dad to be able to see me. Like, I was comfortable in LA personally. I wasn't trying to go to the cold or like, go anywhere super hot. Like, it was kind of a no-brainer.
And then when you did get here to UCLA, and then I saw that you had 3 concussions in 4 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you made the decision to medically retire. What kind of inspired that?
Basically, my previous concussion was like one of the worst ones, and I really was just like in a bad place. Like I didn't like go out. Like I didn't want to like talk to people, see people. Like, and really I didn't even know why. Like I just knew like my head hurt for one. Like I would wake up like super angry, like super just out of it. Like even my like roommate was like, bro, like are you good? Like what's up? Like you're acting kind of weird. Like,
Right.
And I would be sitting there like, yeah, like my head's hurt. Like it's cool. Like whatever. Like I would go to the trainer. Like they would tell me like, yeah, give it a week, see whatever. Da da da. By the 3rd week, like it was bad. Like I literally would have headaches every day. Like I was super anxious. Like all kind of crazy stuff. Like it was no feeling I ever wanted to experience again, pretty much. So I went back to the doctor. Like they started giving me testing, sent me to therapy. Like just basically, I guess them doing that started like my road to self-improvement, which then allowed me to look back and be like, okay, this isn't something that I want to do anymore. Like, I don't ever want to feel like this again. Like, I don't ever want to be in this situation again. Like, it's time for me to move on. And that was definitely like a hard thing to do. Like,
Yeah, I can imagine.
it didn't, I don't think I really even made the decision until like 2-3 months later. Like, they gave me a lot of time to like focus on myself and like, I guess get better and heal. And I took all of it. Like I picked up, like I read like self-help books. There's one under my desk that I'm pointing at.
Right.
Just randomly pointed, but I was reading all these books, like just learning about myself, like learning why like I felt the way I felt. And it's like when you're in that situation, it's either like, do you want to be a vegetable at 20 years old, or do you want to try something new?
Right. And
That's kind of what it was.
I'm sure being here, you live with teammates, you spend a bunch of time with them in practice and everything. What was the conversation with, how was that conversation with them, telling them that you had to put yourself first?
To be honest, it was super difficult. Like, and it wasn't even so much that like they pressured me or like made me feel a certain type of way. It was just like I felt like I was letting the team down.
It's a brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly. Like we put in all that work, all those hours. Like these are guys that I went through the worst of the worst with for the most part, as far as in my life per se, I would say. And I felt like me going to them and being like, hey, like I don't want to do this anymore was a letdown. And like I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself personally because I cared a lot about how they would feel about it. And yeah, it was a tough situation, but I feel like time kind of healed that. Like people, I personally didn't really say anything. People were kind of just like, all right, he did it, like whatever, and it just passed. Like it was what it was. But yeah, it was definitely tough.
And so you, I'm sure the conversations were different with coaches and the brotherhood that you have with your teammates. So what was that like, going to coaches and letting them know that you had to medically retire?
I don't know. It's what you expect. It's the, oh, we're gonna miss you so much. We're gonna da 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 da. Like, thank you, whatever. Like it's the hobnob, the fake love, I guess you would say.
Yeah,
like, do you feel like it's like genuine? Like when you're talking to them, are you like?
I think for some coaches it can be. I think for some people they are able to build a relationship with their coach and are able to to make the best out of the situation. But I would say maybe 85% of the time, it's definitely BS. Like, it's they have a job to do. They're expected to produce, and if you don't do that, bye. Like,
right.
And that's it.
And like you said, it is really all about production and what they can bring and produce for the school. So did you feel any of that with, I know I read about you reached out to your coach one night and he was not really receptive, and that was all because you decided to put yourself first. So how was that experience?
I mean, it didn't surprise me. Like I said, that's the crazy part. Like, we're 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids who like wake up and that's what we gotta hear for 8 hours a day. Like, MFers, this, that, this, cussing you out in film, cussing you out in practice. Like, that's the language of college athletics. So it's something that like you're used to. Like, it's kind of like, so for me when I got that, I was like, all right, like whatever. Like, it is what it is. Like, I don't have any ill will towards bro. Like, I definitely understand where he's coming from, you know. But it's a lot of pressure for people. Like, how do you expect someone to be expected to not only go to practice, but go to school, after school, go to a film session, get cussed out for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, like get told like things like, oh, like, I really need my job, like I need you to do this for me, da 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 da, like I need you to whatever, like improve, whatever. And then after that, you have to go back home and you're expected to do whatever amount of homework you have. And that's at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. On top of that, I think a lot of people don't even realize, like, these kids are like superstars. Like, if you go to UCLA fan, 9 times out of 10, they know you. Like, we sit here and say, like, we like, I feel like we get really emotional about child stars going bad and like child like stars doing all this in Hollywood and dancing, or not dancing, but Hollywood as far as acting and stuff like that. But people don't even look at like college sports. Like, at UCLA, if you're a UCLA football player, at least 1,000 people already know you. Right. Like, you can go anywhere in Westwood, and if you see a little old fan and that fan recognizes you, it's a conversation immediately. Exactly. That's a lot of pressure for an 18, 19-year-old kid just trying to get their degree, you know? Like, that's stress. That's everyday stress. Like,
And so how do you deal with that if you are someone who is more reserved and introspective and you're not as outgoing? If you are trying to just go out and get some food and then you have a fan and it's like, hey, Breland, like, can I get a picture, get this, that? Like, how do you deal with that?
It's hard to, I feel like it's hard to react how you personally want to react because you can't, because you're under UCLA. Like, you have to be able to do those things and make sure you look personable and make sure you're representing UCLA well, which comes with, like, I understand that comes with the scholarship. Like, that's something you're expected to do. But a lot of times, like, what if you just came from a hard class, you're tired, like whatever it may be, you got into an argument, whatever, like, that's when you get things like you hear players maybe not responding to a situation well, or not handling something correctly regarding a fan, and da 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 da. And people just sit there and look at the player when they don't even take the time to think about the fact, like, yo, this kid just came from practice, he just had schoolwork, he did all this, da 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 da. Probably just got cussed out by his coach. Like, why does he want a little fan running up to, like, a little old man coming up to talk to him about what he just got cussed out about? Exactly. And half the time a fan will come up to you and say like some negative stuff about a previous game or player, or try and get like insider information, just stuff that's not even important. So it's like, why do I even need to entertain that? Like,
and you mentioned that you go through like hours of practice, you have film study, you have just a bunch of things going on. And how often do coaches actually say, like, hey, Breland, like, you do anything fun this weekend? You got any concerts coming up? Like, how often do coaches actually care to check in on you as a person?
Zero, like, none at all. Like, it's expected that it's football, school. Really, it's not even, it's football. Or whatever sport it may be. Like I said, these are coaches who have jobs, who have families. Like, you're expected to come in and produce. Like, whether you feel crappy, whether you feel broken, like, you're expected to come in, yes sir, no sir, do what you're supposed to do, and hopefully you make it through the day.
So, and that you saying like all of those things are, I mean, it's pressure. And so how much do you think, you mentioned coaches cussing and yelling at you and things like that. Oftentimes the players are black, right? A lot of the coaching staff may not be most often white. So how do you think that race ever plays a dynamic where you feel you may be getting exploited or anything like that?
I wouldn't say race plays a part in it, but the name of NCAA sports is exploitation.
Right.
That's what we are.
You got some snaps from the back there, yeah.
That hit.
I mean, yeah, that has nothing to do with race. I don't think. I think everyone's in it for the money.
Right.
Everyone, like, it doesn't, because there's like, there's kids who I play with, like, who were the head guy on the team one day, and as soon as coach felt a certain way about that kid, you never saw him touch the field again.
So it's all about production.
Exactly. Like, it's, you got to come in and you got to do what you're expected to do, or else it's bye. And it's no, thank you, like, I appreciate you, it's see you later, on to the next guy. Like, later.
And I know you're really into music and production and everything.
Yeah.
So who are some people you kind of look to for inspiration with your work?
Man, honestly, I look everywhere. Like, I'm a big, like, music guy. Like, I grew up with music. My grandparents played instruments. My uncle played the guitar. Like, I've been involved in it for a little bit. And now I'm kind of just finally getting the time to really, like, pursue it. So I'm wrapped up in everything, jazz, hip hop, like,
That's what's up.
Everything, really.
So what, I know you said that you are really into the production side of things.
Yeah.
So what exactly, like, what draws you to production rather than trying to be on a track?
Well, for one, I can't rap or sing.
Okay,
so
that makes it easier.
Two, for me, music was something that got me out of, like, my situation. Like, I look to music for, like, my emotion for the day. Like, when I wake up, like, I'm blasting some G Herbo, something that's gonna get me lit. Like, if I need to be calm or chill, like, I'll throw on some, like, whatever, some Sampha, some Tyler the Creator, like, whatever. Like, I feel like music is a lot more a part of humans than they really realize. Like, that can really change your emotion. You can go from a bad day to a good day just off a song you heard. Like,
Right.
I think that's really, like, the craziest thing ever to me, and I'm interested by that. Like, and I have fun creating those sounds that can make people feel that way.
Like, do you think being, like, on the front lines playing football and everything has kind of made you want to be more behind the scenes with music, and you're kind of I guess, like, the puppet master, the one controlling everything?
I wouldn't say so. Honestly, I'm the type of person where, like, I don't really like being in the limelight. Like, I kind of like being behind the scenes. So that's really why I produce, I guess, because I feel like it's cooler being the guy that, like, puts things together and everyone else sees the finished product.
Right.
Like, I don't need to stand in front of it and be like, this is my thing, you know? Like, I'm cool knowing, like, yeah, I did that. Like, all right, you know, but you don't know, you know? Like,
I feel that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me your top 5 producers, like your top 5 favorites.
My top 5 producers? Oh, okay.
Damn.
This is no order.
Hunter, I do this.
You do. That shit was nice.
This is no order, but I gotta say, Cardo got wings. He produced God's Plan. He produced a lot of Travis Scott stuff. He produced
I love him because of Travis.
Yeah, he's fire. If you listen to old Wiz Khalifa, like, I don't know if I can say Cushion OJ, but
that's a banger.
That mixtape, that's all Cardo got wings. Obviously Kanye, love Kanye. Who are 40, Drake, you know, obviously. Travis Scott. 808 Mafia, Sizzle.
Yeah.
All the future stuff, that's 808 Mafia, Sizzle, that's fire.
Yeah, that's it. Come on, get up. Come on, let's do it.
Christina and her dad outfit.
Let's go.
I don't know what the frame is. Let me kneel down here. Okay. Hey guys, this has been Top 5 Presents The Process with Hunter Patterson. Breland, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to follow him on Instagram, follow all of us on Instagram, follow Top 5 on Instagram, and we'll see you next week.